There's a misconception in fighting that greatness is always born from pain, from poverty, from broken homes, from nothing. And while that's true for many, there's a different kind of fighter, a rarer one, the kind that chooses suffering, even when life eventually gives them comfort. Arman Tsarukyan is that kind of fighter. Chapter 1: A Quiet Beginning, October 11th, 1996. Ahalkalakets'a, Georgia. A small, quiet town, with no connection to greatness, no pipeline to the UFC, no reason to believe a future world-class fighter would emerge from it. Arman was born into an Armenian family, a culture deeply rooted in discipline, resilience, and identity. But at that moment, none of that mattered, because he was just another kid in another forgotten town. No one watching his childhood would have predicted anything special. No headlines, no viral moments.
Ilya, stop running, Ilya! Stop running, Ilya. Good boy. I'll make it quick, no worries.
No early fame, just silence. Chapter 2: Migration, Identity, and Early Instability. At just 3 years old, before he could even understand the concept of home, everything changed. His family made a decision that would reshape his entire life. They moved to Russia, not for comfort, not for luxury, but for opportunity. They settled in Khabarovsk, a cold, distant city in the far east of Russia, a place defined by harsh winters, limited opportunity, and a culture where toughness isn't optional, it's expected.
I was born in Georgia and then I moved to Russia. So when I was 3 years old or 2.5 years old, I remember my childhood from Russia. Beginning was we had a hard life, because we just moved there. My father, we didn't have a house, and then my father started working hard and make money, and then we got the house.
Imagine growing up there. The cold air hitting your lungs, the rough environment, the constant sense that life isn't going to be easy. That environment starts shaping you before you even realize it. Chapter 3: The struggle people don't talk about. Today, people see Arman Tsarukyan and assume one thing: he's rich, he had it easy. But that belief falls apart the moment you look closer. His own brother once revealed, "We couldn't even afford wrestling shoes."
Все в этом этапе, я думаю, что жили, когда были младшие, да, также там. У нас борцов вообще не было. Совсем. Мы когда занимались, когда Арман занимался, у нас борцов вообще не было. Когда мы приезжали в центр, мы жили за городом, в гетто Хабаровск.
Think about what that actually means. Walking into a gym, seeing other kids fully equipped, proper shoes, gear, support, and then looking down at yourself and realizing you don't belong. That kind of experience doesn't just create motivation, it creates awareness. Awareness that you are behind, that life is uneven, that if you want something, you're going to have to fight harder than others. They lived in rough conditions, far from the image people associate with him today. No luxury, no shortcuts, just survival.
Да, многие же не знают, что все думают, что мы там родились в золотой какой-то, равняться тем, насколько ты хуже жил, не знаю.
Chapter 4: A father's grind and a shift in reality. At the center of that household was his father, Arman Tsarukyan, a man working in construction. Long days, physical exhaustion, constant pressure to provide. When you grow up watching that, it changes you. You don't just see effort, you understand responsibility. And over time, that effort began to pay off. His father transitioned into business and eventually became successful. But here's the key detail people miss. By the time the money came, Arman had already been shaped.
When I was 7, I went to the wrestling school, or 6. No, my brother, he was 8, I was 6, and I went to the freestyle wrestling school.
His mindset was built in struggle, not comfort. Chapter 5. Discipline before fighting. The hockey years. Before the UFC, before fighting, Arman Tsarukyan had a completely different dream. Hockey. And not casually. He played at a serious level for the junior team of Hockey Club Amour.
Hey, is it true ice hockey was your first sport?
Yeah.
They said you were an enforcer. You would just go out there and beat people up and then go back, or were you scoring goals?
No, I was scoring goals. Yeah,
And you would beat people up.
yeah, after game, yeah, not during the game.
You hear about this?
Man, no, I didn't know anything about that.
He'd go out there, score all the goals, and then beat people up.
But it's crazy. I don't know how you guys fight on that ice. I don't know how you
No, the ice is difficult. That's why I was waiting when game done and then went to the locker room. All my teammates from my school, they all day they play hockey, I said, and I was playing with them like amateur too, but still I was wrestling. I was competing wrestling like when I was 9, but still like 3 times a week I winter time I go to the ice and play with them. And then one coach said, you play pretty good, so you gotta train the hockey, you can be a hockey player. And then I quit the wrestling and I started to play hockey all day.
Why'd you quit wrestling? You said you liked it so much.
But hockey was more fun, and especially you don't cut weight. When I was 7,
You were cutting weight at 7?
Yeah.
Early mornings, cold rinks, the sound of skates cutting through ice, the repetition, the discipline. Hockey is not just a sport. It's structure, it's routine, it's endurance. And at the same time, he trained freestyle wrestling, eventually earning the title Master of Sport. That combination explains everything about his style today. Chapter 6. When life interrupts your dream. But life doesn't always follow your plan. As Arman got older, reality stepped in. He had to stop hockey, not because he failed, not because he lacked talent, but because life demanded something else.
And then I couldn't be a good hockey player.
Why? Why couldn't you be good at hockey?
I started a little bit late. I started
Yeah.
9. I was supposed to start like when I was 5, 6, because that 3 years, 9 is a little bit late for
You know,
hockey.
That's crazy. 9 years old is too
because
late.
the competition is on different level. So let's see, I'm 9, like 10, they already playing like 4, 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, like from 5 years they play.
He began working with his father in construction. Dust in the air, heavy lifting, long hours, no applause, no recognition, just work. And in those moments, something starts to happen inside a person. You begin to question everything: your path, your future, your purpose. He stopped working with his father and got back into wrestling. His father had his back, and that's all he needed. He became obsessed with getting better. He went on a 12-fight win streak across multiple promotions, different cities, different opponents, different environments. But one constant: progress. He's always trying to improve, always pushing. Chapter 7. The Moment of Decision. On April 20, 2019, at UFC Fight Night, Overeem vs. Oleinik, the 22-year-old unranked Arman Tsarukyan steps into the octagon for the first time. The matchup is brutal on paper. Makhachev is a Dagestani wrestling machine with elite control. What unfolds is a grappling clinic that lasts the full 15 minutes. Round 1 sees an immediate explosion of chain wrestling, sprawls, reversals, scrambles that last over 30 seconds without pause. Arman matches Makhachev's pace, lands heavy shots in transitions, and demonstrates an athleticism and heart that shocks observers. He loses by unanimous decision, but the performance earns widespread praise as one of the greatest UFC debuts in history. Dana White himself highlights it. Arman leaves no doubt that he belongs among the elite, even in defeat. Heartbroken yet unbreakable, he makes a pivotal decision. He relocates to Florida and joins American Top Team, where coach Marcos D'Amata becomes like family. There, Arman refines his striking, sharpens his grappling transitions, and transforms from a raw prospect into a polished contender. From 2019 onward, Tsarukyan's UFC ascent is relentless. He avenges any early doubts with a string of impressive performances. Consider his fight against Beneil Dariush on December 2nd, 2023, in the main event of UFC Fight Night. Dariush, a top 5 veteran known for his technical precision, slick submissions, and dangerous striking, is expected to test Arman's mettle. Instead, Arman explodes from the opening bell. Just 64 seconds in, he feints, changes levels with lightning speed, and unleashes a piston-like right hand that drops Dariush cold to the canvas. The follow-up ground and pound is clinical and devastating. It is a first-round knockout, earning Performance of the Night and catapulting Arman into genuine title contention. Analysts call it the moment the lightweight division truly felt the wolf's bite. Proof that his power had caught up to his wrestling pedigree.
The guy who wanted to fight, it was Beneil Dariush, and because of him now I'm a top 5 fighter, number 3 or number 2, and hopefully next fight is gonna be for the title. If not, doesn't matter, one more fight, next one, and I'm gonna be a champion, trust me guys.
Then comes April 13th, 2024. UFC 300 in Las Vegas, one of the biggest stages in UFC history. Arman faces former champion Charles Oliveira, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu legend and guillotine specialist with experience against the very best. The fight is a war of survival and strategy. Early in round 1, Oliveira locks in a deep Arman guillotine choke that looks fight-ending. Most fighters would tap under that pressure, but Arman fights it with every ounce of his being, refusing to yield for what feels like an eternity. He escapes, resets, and turns the bout into a grinding masterclass. Over 15 minutes, Arman out-wrestles Oliveira in the clinch, outstrikes him in exchanges, and out-scrambles him on the mat. The judges award a split decision victory to Arman, with one scorecard going to Oliveira, but the octagon belongs to Tsarukyan. He has now beaten a former champion in a high-stakes environment, solidifying his status as a top contender and proving his chin, heart, and technical evolution.
Yeah, it was 5 years ago, my fight short notice with Islam Makhachev. I gave him the toughest fight, and I believe myself, next fight I'm gonna win him. Just gave me that opportunity, and that's it.
November 22nd, 2025 marks another milestone. UFC Fight Night in Qatar, headlined by Tsarukyan versus the tall, rangy striker Dan Hooker. Hooker brings length, power, and experience, but Arman closes the distance masterfully. Early pressure forces Hooker into defensive exchanges. In round 2, Arman drags the fight to the ground, locks in a vicious arm triangle choke, and finishes at 3 minutes and 34 seconds. It is a submission win that re-establishes him firmly in the title picture. The performance is dominant, blending wrestling control with finishing instinct, and it earns him Performance of the Night honors.
Talk to us about the fight itself and how you feel about your performance tonight.
It was good. I got bonus. So happy. But my goal is a title fight. That's why, for this year, job is done, but I'm focused for the title, and I came here just to show everybody that I'm real contender #1, and I want to fight for the title, and I have to fight for it.
At this point, Arman's overall professional record stands at 23 wins and 3 losses, with 9 knockouts, 6 submissions, and 8 decisions. Proof of a fighter who can end fights early or grind out wars. Yet success in the octagon has also led to controversies that have tested his standing with the UFC. In April 2024, during his UFC 300 walkout, a fan directs abuse and a middle finger toward him. Arman reacts instantly, punching the fan in a moment caught live on broadcast.
And there was also a moment where Arman, it looked like he was punching somebody in the crowd during his walkout.
Yeah, you might not want to hang over the things and grab people when they're walking out. These guys are all fucking piped up and whatever, and I'm sure we're probably going to get sued. We'll deal with that on Monday, too.
The backlash is swift. He is suspended for 9 months by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, reduced to 6 if he completes an anti-bullying public service announcement, and fined $25,000. Dana White expresses clear displeasure with the incident.
You punched a fan?
Yeah, punched a fan.
Why? It's just nice guy stuff, you know?
No, he showed me fag.
Oh, you went like this? I respect that.
No, I didn't punch him, bro. I was just.
Oh my god.
Like I wanted to make him scared.
Oh, so you made him flinch.
Yeah.
You didn't even touch him.
Yeah, I didn't touch him.
He didn't?
No, and I lost 30 or 50K.
What?
Yeah, I didn't touch him.
That's fucked up, man.
Then, in January 2025, Arman is slated for a lightweight title fight against Islam Makhachev at UFC 311.
Is that when you get a guy like Khabib, you get these Dagestanis, you get these Russians, these Armenians and stuff, they've been training probably since they were 6.
Yep.
And so what happens is your tendons and everything gets really, really strong.
Dude.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's the dude who's fighting for the lightweight title. And by the way, they fought a few years back, and it was, god damn,
dude,
son.
I thought I was straight this whole time.
But withdraws on extremely short notice due to a severe back injury. The card is disrupted, and questions swirl about reliability.
Arman Tsarukyan, what do you do with him at this point? I mean, do you automatically rebook him in the next title fight? Do you go back to the drawing board?
No. Yeah, he's going back to the drawing board. You miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
Tell us about what that looks like. What are you going to kind of envision?
I don't know. He's not getting a title shot, so that means he's going to have to fight his way back to the title.
During the ceremonial weigh-ins for the Hooker fight in 2025, an accidental headbutt from Arman breaks noses on both sides, nearly jeopardizing the main event and drawing further scrutiny.
Do you buy the reason that you're not getting the title fight because you headbutted Dan Hooker? Do you believe that that's the reason you're not getting the title fight?
It could be. It could be. And I think this is Paramount first fight, a first Paramount event. That's why they're a little bit scared to put me there.
Why?
Because I pulled out once in my life from my fight, and they doesn't believe that I can make it happen. And the second one, headbutt. Third one is that I punched the fan. I don't know. The fan makes sense. The fan.
You know when you say it all at the same time.
Yeah.
Outside the UFC, Arman's grappling appearances have added fuel to the fire. At real American freestyle events, he engages in heated post-fight scuffles, most notably a brawl with Giorgio Poulas at RAF 6 that involves entire camps after illegal strikes and chaos on the mats.
Alright, I want to send a message to all my fans and supporters. I want to thank you guys. I hope you guys got some enjoyment out of the match tonight. Unfortunately, I was jumped, but as you guys saw, my 62-year-old dad and both my brothers came to my rescue. That's the way we were brought up, to fight for each other no matter what. We're outnumbered by like 12 Armenians, and they came out there running, fighting with me, fighting for me. So that's fucking love. That's how we were raised. To Arman, you're a little bitch. And by the way, if you guys watch the match, I'm the only one that got a takedown. He got pushed out and a couple penalty points. I'm still the champ, baby.
A rematch at RAF 7 sees Arman win a controlled 9-3 decision, but the earlier incident raises eyebrows. Critics label him a liability, hot-tempered, unprofessional, prone to emotions spilling over. Supporters counter that this is the same fire that makes him elite in the cage, a fighter who refuses to be disrespected or walked over. Arman himself addresses the scrutiny, stating that he fights for his family and country, that emotions run high in combat sports, and that he learns from every storm.
No, I thought he's gonna wrestle, but like when he started like a punching, I said, okay, this guy wants to fight and cancel the fight and like do like a dirty wrestling. And like I won the wrestling, and I heard the whistle, and I said, okay, now it's time because I got the victory.
Okay.
But if I did before, I could like not win him. No, I just punched with my hand.
Oh, it was a straight punch. I thought it was like a nice little ground. It was a straight punch.
Yeah.
It felt good?
No, I would like to throw a couple elbows.
Okay.
If there is no referee. If it's
Dana White has publicly noted he is not thrilled with certain antics, and these incidents have reportedly delayed title opportunities despite Arman's resume. Yet he remains active, competing in grappling matches, choking out top opponents like Islam Makhachev inside promotions, and staying sharp while the lightweight title picture shifts around him. Through it all, Arman Tsarukyan's journey from the car-sleeping nights in Russia's Far East to the bright lights of UFC main events is a testament to unyielding will. At 29 years old in 2026, with a record of 23-3, 10 UFC victories, including knockouts of gatekeepers like Dariush, survival wars against champions like Oliveira, and submissions against rangy strikers like Hooker, he sits as a perennial top contender. His wrestling remains elite, his striking has evolved into a dangerous weapon, and his chain grappling can break even the most resilient opponents. The lightweight throne remains in sight, though politics, injuries, and his own fiery temperament have kept it just out of reach for now. The controversies may linger in headlines, but in the octagon, when the cage door locks, Arman Tsarukyan becomes the wolf who refuses to be tamed. His story is still being written, with chapters of glory, struggle, redemption, and perhaps one day, undisputed championship gold. From the mountains of Georgia to the global stage of the UFC, this is the journey of a fighter who turned every obstacle into fuel. Arman Tsarukyan has proven that no matter how dark the early nights, the wolf always finds a way to howl under the brightest lights. The pack is watching, and the lightweight division will never be the same.